Okay, we are good. So today is the 7th day of our annual vacation.
Oh yeah, change it up.
Mr. Ayodeji, please can you meet him? Thank you. Welcome you to today's class, and we are going to continue our wireframe. So today, after today's class, the next class is going to be on Monday. That's the 8th day. Then I'm going to add another class on Wednesday so that we can round up. So we are going to finish the wireframe today. I will try as much as possible that I can finish it today by all means so that next class we can do the design. Then we take a look at how we can do a prototype in Figma before we wrap up the bootcamp. Okay, so I'm going to start now by sharing my screen. Okay, I'm going to refer to Figma, and this is where we stop in our last class. So let's continue. I don't even have any idea of how this is going to look in the real designer, but here we are. And then I said that when you guys are wireframing, you shouldn't be too stuck at how things is going to look like. The reason why you're wireframing is just for you to get a structure what you're going to design later on. It's not for you to worry about how this one is going to look like. As in, you should worry about that, but it's not like you're going to slow down your process. You want to be as fast as possible. Some little elements will not be captured in the process of wireframing. So when you are done with design, and you feel like this place has too much space, then you can continue adding some simple design elements so that it can come alive. Okay. So after this, honestly, I don't really want you to go and do your own wireframes, no matter what. Go and do your wireframe, no matter how it looks like, and then you're going to design based on the wireframe. Okay. So we have done with the nav bar. This is the nav bar. This is not supposed to be the home page. It's supposed to be just hero section. Zero right home page. Hero section. We are done with the hero section. The search bar. The search bar. I think like last time I said that this one is not. Let me just put it to yellow for now. This orange. It might not do it because that will take a lot of time. Just 1 minute. Because the search bar might take a lot of time. And we have feature listing and then category section. Feature listing. What is going to be there? Now, to be honest, I've not gone through the documents since last class. And then why us? Why Tokumbo in this case? Testimonial, city, and footer. This is pretty much simple. Let us continue. So this is the hero section. If you are offering on this, do not move anything, please. This is hero section, right? This is the nav bar. You can also call it header in this case. So let's move on to, this is supposed to be the category, I remember. So we have this sedan. Yeah, we have sedan, we have SUV. Okay, so I'm going to just SUVs, hatchback. Okay, and then and so on and so forth. Convertible pickup truck. So the way you can do this is just to tell the user that this is a slide. So you can also slide. So I'm just going to carry this button here and I'm going to put it here. And as you can see, because we don't have any mode box set, the website is now looking like illustrious kind of website that is going to make the user feel kind of happy with one way or the other. As in, if you are using a car, you're going to feel happy in some way or the other. So this is what this is looking like now because of the way these elements are looking like. So what I want to do is I want to put this on at 0% like this. And I'm going to delete this one. So you can then press Shift H now to rotate it like this. If I just want to be like this. Okay, that's Shift H. But you can also see it rotate. Flip horizontally like this. Okay. So I'm going to add auto layer to them. And I'm going to don't forget that we are using 60%, 60 pixel gutter. 60% margin here. We let this to be 60 pixel like this. Yeah, right there. And the space, before it's a good number in this case. If there's a need for that, we adjust it. We have not grouped this. Let me group it. So here we have this guy, this guy, this guy. It should be inside of auto layout. And I'm going to call this one category. Let me just call this category box now. Okay. Then I'm going to group it with this one. Let me rename this one to slider box. Okay. I'm going to put this another auto layout. When I put this auto layout now, this one is jumping to this place. So what I need to do is just to align it to the bottom right like this. Okay. Whichever way you do this at this stage is not really important. If you can keep on using auto layout, you are using it, it's totally fine. But I want to tell you that someone like me, I use auto layout almost all the time and to make my work very fast. So let me call this one. Let's just call it slider. And then I'm going to group it with this heading. And then I'm going to call this one container like this. Okay, nice. So now we can log in. You know what I said about grouping? Element that are the same category should be inside the group. Okay. But the way I design websites, maybe I hope this is not going to be too early for you. The way I design website is I always section them. But that's how people design website. Rational. You section your website, section by section by section by section. You just do not want to leave this one like this and leave this one like this, and the thing will just be on your artboard without having a structure. Now, after you have a container now, you can put another group. And I'm going to use frame group now. Just click on this container, Control Alt and G. So put it inside of the frame group now. So this is category section. So let me just call it category section. You can call it category only, but just for your own sake, let me just call it category section now. So this section, we have the width that is equal to the size of this artboard, and that's 1440 like this. 1440. Okay. So you can then align it to the center. That's align horizontal center. And then this element container inside of it, align it to the center like this too. Okay. So if you notice now, we have 60 margin to the left and 60 margin to the right. Okay. So what I want to do is, I want us to have, let's have 60 margin to the top and then 60 margin to the bottom. Now this margin to the bottom will now be margin to the next section that we're going to be designing. Okay. So what I want to do is, I don't want this margin to be calculating. So this arrow section, I want the margin to be inside of this category section. So I can use auto layout to do that very easily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this category section. Remember, this container is also auto layout. So I'm going to select this category section and I'm going to add auto layouts. You can do it here or using Shift and A. Then we click here for now, and then we have auto layout. So what I want us to do is I want us to give it this padding. That's padding top and down. I just give it 60 like this. Okay. I want to give it 50. You can see this guy is turning to something else, which is ignore auto layout. You can remove this. Now, the place is a bit cumbersome and it may just be too much for you. So now don't let me use it, then just click on back now. So we have auto layout as a container. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to make this one to be wide like this and this one like this. And I want this one to be 60. So let me just make it to be 60 like this. And this one to be 60, not 68. So click on the frame and then adjust this. So you get 60 like this. We are good to go. Okay. So the next thing that we have on the line, this one should be category section. What about the feature listing? Do we even have anything like feature listing? Not sure. This category. Okay, we can design any section that you want, but first of all, we want to make sure is that we are designing based on the brief that we have from the clients. Okay, in this case, we are the clients, we are also the designer. So let me just go ahead and take a brief look at our brief. That's a good document. Let's talk. And this thing you'll be doing in real life sometime. If you are not showing you are doing it right, you go there and then you go and see what the client is asking you to do. The landing page information, hero section, eye-catching banner image of popular cars, tagline, affordable used cars at your fingertip. Okay. Search bar, feature listing, highlight popular, trending, or newly listed. This is what this feature listing is saying we should do. Okay. So the category section, car categories for easy navigation, that is SUV, sedan, and hatchbacks, etc. That's what we just did. But we are missing this one, feature listing. So let's put this feature list. Now we have a good understanding of what this is doing now. That's highlight popular, trending, or newly listed cars. Okay, so that is going to be from the clients. Clients will say, okay, these are the cars that are just newly listed. They are the ones that are trending. They are the cars that, we have now. So let's take a look at what we can do. Now, from my own head, I can think of doing something, but let's take a look at our inspirations. Yeah. Something like this is a better treatment. It's a good treatment. And, but the thing is that if our own image is not like this, how do we then do it? Now, at this stage, if you are feeling stuck, you can just go to Yes again and take maybe some more inspiration. Well, for now, let's see what we can do. I think I'm going to be designing something from our own edge now so that we don't take a lot of time doing all the research. So the listing is just for us to show some cars that are in a nice way. So let me just create like something like a frame now. I'm going to bring by our grid. So it's 6 and G. We have grid. So I want to be designing with the grid. So let me just put this one here. Then put this one here. Put this one here. So here we are going to do it so that you can see this. Let me put this up here. But I don't want this to be like a magic. Let me just go to that. Let me go to that yes, and see what we can do. You know, in most courses that you'll be watching online or you'll be buying online, this process will be omitted. Nobody will show you how they come up with an idea about how they get some design. You just see the final well design file, and then after the whole tutorial, for you to go back and do your own maybe a bit difficult. So let's say car listing section. Of course, you can just search with any keyword of what you like. So let me see what this guy decided. Maybe I'm using Beyonce too much. The next time we go to dribble. You can see what we have here. This is not bad actually, right? You can use this to advantage. Or you can get very creative with this. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this that shifts. That's window key and print screen. And then something like this is not bad. Maybe for White House. Okay. Sometimes I take inspiration from a design that is not even good at all. Because what I want to do at the end of this, I don't want to replicate the design. Just like an inspiration. When I'm doing my own, I make it better. For example, now here I can't even read this text, but this particular element here, based on my own experience, you know, it's giving me some nice structure of how we can put that listing cast. Okay, and here we have brands, name of brands or logo of brands that trusted this business. So let's just see how we can do this one. I'm not going to waste time searching for 2-3 things. So I'm going to go to my screenshots now. This one's going to take some time for it to load. So this looks like what we have. We have 4 cards. You know, we are working with 12 grid now. So all of the cards must be in 3 columns like this. 1, 2, 3. Make it 4. This one. And notice that I'm using frame most of the time. That's because I don't want to deal with shape in this case. And then just duplicate. We have 4 now. We are going to design one, of course. So this for what I want us to do is I want us to use auto layout to make it as less space. You will see what I mean in a second. But for now, let me just grab this screenshot. This one and this one. This one will show you like real word of how we design Google interface. You can see what we have here. You can see the space here is not that much compared to what we have here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 frames, I'm going to put them in auto layout. Shift and A to add auto layout. And that auto layout, I'm going to make sure that the height, the width is set to 1320 like this. Now, and aligning to the center. Okay. So click on the first frame, go to the width and make it to be field container like this. The second frame, the same thing, field container. The third frame, second thing, field container. And then the fourth frame, field container. So the size of this, the gap between these things, not going to be 37, is going to be, let's go with 20. So you can see now, the size of the frame is the 1300. That is the size of our container, the one that we have here. And I think the one that we have here too. Okay, here we don't even work with size, maybe because I was very fast that day. But if you're working with this particular grid, that is the size of our container. The container, what I mean by container, is the distance between this place. Hope you can see this space to the last bridge here. This is not the last bridge. To this one. That's our container. Okay, and you can see we have 60 pixel adding to the right and to the left. So the size is 1320, and the same thing that we have here. And we'll be able to lay out now. We create this particular card. We have only 20 gap between them. And in some cases, because we are designing now, Anatolia will not allow us to do something. So we can just remove the auto layout for now. So to remove auto layout, you can press Alt, Shift, and A on your keyboard. And to remove a frame or to ungroup from a frame or even a group, you can press and hold Alt and then backspace. Yeah, the group has done. So let's focus on designing our card. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to press K to resize like this. Okay. Maybe some of this image I can even drop where you can come to this place. You can come to this place and copy it. Let me put this on here. Okay, you need it. But your own may not be your own design. What you are doing may not be on cast. So let's see what we have. You can see here. We have the name of the car. Okay, so we can just put it here. So in this case, once again, let's see what we are doing. So I feel like I'm forgetting now. Highlight popular trending or newly listed car trending. Okay, so let's just put this one to trending, like something like a tag, right? And this is too big. Let me make it maybe 30. I'm gonna put it here, and then I can put some info of the car. We are missing N here. So let's just say, I don't know if you know, let's say sedan 2020, 2020, 2023. And then you have some info about the car. Maybe I'll Google this and then I will adjust it. But for now, let's have it like this. Okay. So this one, you can put some hierarchy on this one. So this one is going to have a little bit stuff like this. And then we can make the car to just take over this place. In fact, we can make it a bit overflowing now. So let me use some of our gradients of our shade of black here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on to white. Let me put it to, not even put a white, but this color, something like this. So there we have six. Like this one. Here we have C6, and then I'm going to off overflow because I can't see this one now. This clip content, I'll check it whether we can see it. Okay. So this one is not visible again. Let's make this on total black. That's 0 or through with this. And then I'm going to a bit bold it. I don't want to worry about the typography for now. And then this one too, shade of black. That's 2A, 2C, 2C. Okay, we are going to do. We can give this one some border radius. But that's not important for now. We can do that when we are doing the design. This is going to be the image of the car. So let me just give it something like this. So all of the one here, we are going to be trending. All of the one in this row can be trending. Then this one here. Okay, I like popular. Don't think we have to do with popular. Let's just think with newly listed for now. So this one is trending. The other one is newly listed. So this one, don't forget, is inside of a frame. And because of inside of a frame now, I can copy it and replace it with what we have here. Here, I'm dealing with less text. As you can see, I'm dealing with less. I'm not typing too much. So let me just write, rename it to trending cards. Okay, so this one, copy this one to this one, so this one, copy this one, that's, you know what I'm using now, that's Ctrl C for copy, and then here, Ctrl Shift and R, that's copy and replace this one and this one. So I can imagine the car like it's overflowing over this card, or even if it can be in this card and it's well placed, right? You can have some nice visual element there. And if things are going a little bit simple, you can have some maybe some background effects here. But because we are wireframing, I don't want to be doing all of those for now. So depending on how it looks afterward, then we can add some visual element to it. Okay. But let's just make it simple now. We are just doing some card design here. And as you can see, it's made up with very beautiful after everything. So this is trending cars. Now, let's do maybe this one. And one thing is that when you establish a design element, for example, now we have this one is overflowing in your design. In other places, you should try to replicate the same pattern so that it looks uniform. And that way it will end the brand of that particular organization. Okay. So here now we have this one overflowing. We can make this one too. This one will not be newly listed. Newly listed. And I'm thinking of that since newly listed is just like something very new. It may be the one that will come first before trending, just like an idea. But that's not important. So this one, they are not group. Let me group them. And since I group them, I'm just going to replace it with this one. This one group, this one group, and this one group. Okay. If you notice something in my design, you notice that everything's just aligned. That's one thing that makes your design look professional. Everything's aligned, it's not scattered. Because the other things like contrast, when we get to design, but one thing that I should focus on from beginning is alignment. Alignment will make your design look very classic. Okay, so let me see this one to the top like this, and then maybe this one to the bottom. I don't know. Okay. Some designers say they can't design when somebody is watching them. I don't know why. Okay, let me put this one here. Let me see the space that we have here. I don't even care about this space now, but let me care about the place. Something I need to pay attention to. What we have here is 20 pixels, and we have 46. Then, like the part that we have 46, let me make it 40. Or 42, but let's go with 40 now. Do some nice treatment, and I'm going to replace it with everything once again. Okay. So here we have 20, and here we should have 40. Let's see what we have here. That is 31. Well, this one is not a problem because of some cars are not going to, they're going to be different inside with others. Even though the size is going to look alike, some are still going to be a lot different. Okay, so maybe this one can be okay because this one is facing out, this one is facing down. Yeah, so I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to replace it with this. Okay, so once I decide what I have in mind, it is something totally different from what I'm doing now. But just for you to see how we come up with ideas sometimes. That's why I want you to see this process. I'm going to make the space maybe 40. What do you have here? Here we have 20. Let's make it 22. Yeah. Okay. So of course we're going to put all of them together now again. So that's Control Alt G. And as you can see, I'm using frame group, not normal group. So we can rename this one to maybe trending group. And this one, select everything again by holding shift. We are clicking. And then all of these one is not going to be. I'm mistakenly grouping by pressing Ctrl and G. So I'm going to change it to frame now. This one newly listed. Without this is not this was supposed to be new. Potentially this is looking to be this newly listed. See we can do that later. So this one, if you don't see the rest of your design because of this clip content, remove it. So here, here, we are going to put them together like this. Control, Alt, and G from selection. Let's just call this one that's feature listing, not listing, feature listing. Maybe we can call it feature listing card wrapper. I'm not worried about menu convention here because I'm not dealing with colors or something like design system. Okay, let's see what we have here. So here now, you're going to have some description. You don't even have any description in the video section. If you are doing normal design, if you are doing the actual design, we can then have it. So let me bring this heading here. Okay, it's going to be this one is giving you heading, just type it. I'm going to align this way. Okay. Then I'm not noticing that this heading is too close, especially based on the moonboard that we're using, which is something like a little bit luxury. So let me just give it some space. I'm going to give it, if I'm dealing with big heading, I usually give them 130% line height like this. So let me just type check out what the trainer can do. So printing does. Anyway, I'm not trying to be perfect, so I don't even know what to type now. But UX writing is another field in product design. Okay, there's some people that what they do is just to write content for the user interface. But then most of them actually know how to design too. But I'm not saying that in some company, they hire people that focus on those particular things. So what you want to do is for you to be writing content that really can convert user or that can engage user, that can be able to pass the message across in a straightforward manner. Okay, and this is different from copywriting. Okay, so let me now put maybe some restriction here now. So within the description, let me just put this one to something like 18. And if you have anything that we can copy, and we don't have any, don't worry. Check out our trending car and our and the newly listed one. Yes. I'm sure you are going to edit this, and it's not going to be blue, it's going to be maybe medium or regular. But let's go with regular for now. So both of these I'm going to select, and I'm going to then we have to layout. We should have 16 pixels. That's the space to each other, and I'm going to make it have, and from there on to yeah, that's okay. No, I feel like this is, let me just make this heading to be like this. Yeah, this is okay. So let me put this on here. This is let's just put one button here, and we can actually draw a frame. Okay. So that frame should have the color like this. Then I'm going to give it very good corner radius, like 40. And I'm going to send it back. I want to use a shortcut, but let me just show you. So click on the frame that I just draw, and then go to send backward. Send to back. Sorry. So now you can see how this one here. And make sure that this particular icon or this button is inside this frame. So we can just cut it, select its frame, and then paste it. The keyboard to cut is Control X, and then Control V to paste. So I'm going to align this one to the right. That's what D, I believe. Yeah, good. And then align it to the center like this. Okay. So this one can be contact us, and it can also be any other thing. Let's use contact us for now. So I'm pressing a button here actually. Let me make this one to be a bit darker. Let's use our color one that we have here, maybe something like this. And then because of contrast now, let's make this one total white. And then the arrow should be like this. And click it something different. Okay, so I want to align this and this like this. Okay. Let me just put this on to be there. Okay. So shift into that's what we have. Okay. And I'm going to do this guy. Of course, you know me, that's auto layout. And this auto layout that I'm adding here now. If you want to do prototype, you're going to remove all of them. When you do prototyping, auto layout is not going to be the best forms of layout that you want to use. You just want to put them in frame, because with prototyping, you're going to be moving things anyhow. Because if you want all this one to fade in or to slide in, maybe from the bottom, from left, from right, and with auto layout, that's not going to be easy. Okay, but for now, let's have it like that, just so that I can be able to know that we are using our normal container size 1320 here. And then we have this gap set to auto. So this one is sticking to the right, and this one is sticking to the left. That's auto. And if I should put all my grid now, you can see they are well aligned. Until this one is not well aligned. That's because we need to align this frame horizontally. That's Alt and H like this. And this one now is perfect. Okay. So let's continue. Another section that we have, you can see what we have is entirely here from all this guide here. But as we are designing, we can just put some things out. So let's see what we have again. White to combo. So this white to combo, let's check again from our, this is yellow. This is looking like another category. Maybe something like search. Yeah, this is a very good treatment for why all section, because here what you want to display is text, not really picture. Okay, that's why, so that I can see why do you want to teach us, what do we even bring to the table. Okay, I know if I lady, you know what I mean. And then it's going to be just very simple. So now I like this because if it's you take a look at what we have here, this is looking like our own design, right? Because of, if you notice in our design, we are using rounded elements. So this button here is rounded. This we are still using some border radius, and our button is round. Oh wow! In our arrow section, we don't even have any button. Don't do this. So don't try this in every word. Don't design your section without a button, because some people, most people that will go to your website, they will just only check out two sections, and the first one to grab their attention is the hero section. This is part of UX and UI. It's the hero section. Some of them will not even go to the other section. It's the hero section. So you want to use the hero section to grab their attention, or to make sure that they sign in or download the application that you want to advertise. Don't forget that this particular website or web or landing page is just for marketing purpose. Is to convert the user to get the application and start to see cars that are used that they can buy for themselves. Okay, so let's add one button here. I totally forgot that when you're taking some time. So I think this one is a nice treatment in this case. And that means, okay, before I go, let me put this one in the way that's supposed to put them, just like we did for this one. Okay, so this one is in auto layer. Let's just call it heading and button. So heading and button, and then I'm going to select this one. So let's call this one. Okay, it's already named. So let me just group this one together like this. And I'm going to call this container. Container. Okay. So container, and you can see we have the same size. The container size has 120. So this 120 is the container size, but then we want to have the section. That's the one that we expand throughout the width of our artboard, this desktop. So let's put this one in another section. Okay. So if this is feeling like a lot of work on you when you are doing your own, you may cut some corner. When I started, I did not start like this myself, but then it's okay that you start in a total way for that. You want to learn fast. So Control Alt and for frame selection, and I'm going to call this one feature list section. Okay, I'm using section for you. Normally I won't use section, and I want this one to be 1447 like this. So press Alt and H like this. That's, we are making it align to the width of this frame. The section that what's it called? The landing page. So now this height was before, it's overflowing. Okay, so align it like this, and then click on this container, and then shift and edge again to make sure that this one is at the center. Okay, so we can now rename this, guys. Okay, we've already renamed it. Okay, now so let's make this one as, we are dealing with 60 pixels now. That's top and bottom. This thing I'm teaching you now, this take me years to understand it. Yeah. So that now, if you now want to move this one now, it's easy for us to move anyhow, like this. And if you want to move this one, It's so easy for us to move anyhow. That way we don't break our design. So as I want to add something here now, you can see the reason for that. When I want to add something here, we have to expand the frame of this our arrow section. And that way we have to move this. Just imagine if you don't have this in the group. So we have to move this on, move this on, move this on, move this on, and sometimes can be just too problematic. So what I want to do is I want to move this one, and I want to make this one be like this. We don't have any measure for this arrow section. But no matter what, we can make it maybe 42. Yeah. In UI design, spacing is something that you need to pay a very good attention to. So I'm going to do the opposite of what we have there. This one should be black, maybe dark, like this. Then this guy here should be white. Okay. This one should be black. So I will say to dark now. Okay, this also be white, like this, and then this also be like this. Okay. But it depends on our background. As time goes on, we can have the same button here and the same button here. And you might be asking, why are you using white background here? That's because of this hero is dark. This one has dark background. On this place here, we have light background. So we have to have something that will contrast it so the user can see. If you should put this one into white here, you won't be seeing it again yourself. So let's make sure that this one does not have any space here. This is having 42 now. I'm going to move it to the top. What I do now is I'm pressing Alt to see the spacing, and then Shift to jump by 10. That's why you can see it. 22, 32, that's by 10. If I don't press place, you will see the counting one after the other. That's 31, 32. If I click space, then to jump by 10. That's 20, and then 10 and 0. Of course, you can change that when you go to, if you go to your Figma, go to Reference, and then you go to notch amount. You can see the small notch is 1, and the big notch is 10. Let me remove that for now. So let's continue. So this one too, I want to make sure we don't have any space here. It's a code. So let's now take a look at what we have next. So this guy is center, the text is center, sentence is to the left. Let's have another center text here. And this thing is very common for a class to do like this. Is very common, to be honest. We are going to do the same thing. Maybe I've not told you. In UX or in UI, creativity is validated. You don't need to be crazily creative or just too much creative that it will not make any impact on your user, or it will make your user to be convinced. It's okay that you use something that people have used over the years in your own design that they can easily navigate, than to be extra creative that will leave the user convinced. Is that okay? So some of these things that you have that people have used over the year, of course, you're going to do the same thing. But then you can make yourself your own not to have the same color, or not to have the same icon, or not the same spacing sometimes. But you can even twist a little bit, maybe add some background, some flex in it, so that it can stand out. So let's bring this heading back now. We don't have any description about it. We're going to have some description maybe. And then here, this one. What I want us to do now is, this one is not going to be to the left, it's going to be to the center. The alignment here. Okay, this one is too short for now, but let's have it. So, we are dealing with white hot section, so we can have something that's related to that. Let's say, why should you choose people? Why should you buy from so later we use AI to generate some text I can put here. want that to list our terminal. So then we're going to add auto layout. The spacing here is going to be 16 and 20. Okay, we are good. We are going to call this one. So we are here. If you are moving naming, it's not consistent in this case. So that's the so what we want to have, we have delete tags, right? So this delete tags. Let's see what we have. Shifts. We are dealing with 12 bit layout. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have it into the process. So this color and this one. The gap between this one and this one is 40. Don't forget. That is 40. And then we have here like this. We don't even have any content. That's how we are free to design this way. Suppose clients give you a content and they say that the reason why they feel like their potential clients will choose them is 4, not 3, or is 5, not 3, or is 7, not 3 now. So we are going to have something that is going to be much smaller. It's not going to be as big as this one. But in this case, we have this cassette to 3, right? So we can make our own 4, just in case. The reason why you buy from this company is 4. Then let me make it to 4. So the same tree that we use again, we use here. Let's use the same thing again. So here, this frame 1, this frame, this frame, this frame. So all of them, I'm going to add auto layout to them. And I'm going to make all of them to what? To be filled container like this. The space here, here we have 20. Here we can have the same thing here. Here, let's say you have 20 here like this. And then I want to add another frame. Let's suppose that there are 4 reasons why you might use them. See what is going on here now. See, we still have the same width. That's 1320, not 1320, 1320. And then everything is just fitting it. Now, I suppose we have 5 now. So now makes sense. You can see how auto layout is very useful now. So if you are doing it manually, it's going to be just, you're going to be adjusting this one and adjusting that one again and again and again. Okay. And if you're having about 10 cards, you must not put 10 frames here. You can just put 5 up and 5 down, just like we do here. Okay. So let's continue. And I feel like this is too tall. Okay, let's make it something like this. Yeah. So I'm going to remove your layouts. That's happening. So I'm going to copy this frame, and I'm going to replace it with all of this so that we can have something uniform. And I'm going to click on this one, align it to the bottom. All right. So let's see what we have. We have best price. Okay, let's just bring the icon back. I press O on my keyboard to select what? Circle or ellipse. Right, so you can go here and do the same thing. But I'm using the keyboard, so I'm just going to shift and then I'm going to drag like this. Okay. So I'm going to press the same thing again, that circle, and I'm going to drag on that circle. That signifies icon. And I'm just going to put this up here. Okay. If this is too much, too big, then we can adjust it later on when we are deciding. So here we have best price. So we are talking about why people want to choose us. Now we can just put something like we make people buy from this company. We can actually go with best price. I don't want to be the first. Let's just go with high quality. Yes. High quality, then you can have some description that will tell about maybe there's high quality engine or spare parts in this particular vehicle that you're going to get here. So here we have to see if this guy, this guy design is not reward design, I think. It's using Laura Ipson. Let's do that test, and we can do the same thing in our own design too. But I'm going to go to plugin and I'm going to search for Laura Ipson. I'm going to show you this. Laura Ipson will generate just some placeholder test for us to use. When we are designing, we're going to be showing you more plugin and when they can be useful. This one say I must select text or I must draw text layer. So to draw a text layer, just go to text like this and then click and drag like this. Okay. So I want maybe 2 sentences. Okay. Let's go with this. Now this one is set to this fixed size. Let's make it auto height. And of course, this is because of it's too big. I started pixel. I'm going to put it to something like maybe 16 or 18. Let's go with 16 up. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to adjust this guy. We are dealing with 16 now. So high quality, and then this for Ipson, we're going to group them together. So we have 26, 25. That's okay for now. This one is 44. Right? Let me make it maybe 40. Is that okay? Not sure, to be honest, in this case. So what I can do is I can actually make this one. Honestly, it's a bit too much. Maybe I can make this one to come here. You know, we have here overlapping stuff here. Maybe we can have the same thing here. I think I'll do the same thing in one of my recent design. So maybe just do something like this. And I'm going to remove this one from clip content. Do something like this. Then make this one this small. Like this. Okay. Just to add some. Okay. Yeah, maybe something like this is okay. And as you can see now, it's looking different to what we have originally. So this color is saturated. We can keep it big wireframe, or we can make it, you know, as I said, when I'm doing wireframing, I always use grayscales, all these colors of grays. This gray should have all got grayscales. So I can then give it some stroke. And then I can make it pronounced, like maybe 3, but I'm proud that there's going to be a stroke here. That's too much. Maybe 2, like this. Okay. We have not even been doing using stroke in our design. Should we welcome that? Don't worry, let's just omit it for now. I'm just going to hide it. I will not remove it, but I'm just going to add it. So then we remove the auto layout, the grid, Control C, and then I'm going to replace it with what we have there. As you can see, this design the way it's looking like now. It's very simple, minimalistic, but then it's still communicating the message that you want it to communicate. All right. Let me connect my camera. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So we have CTA section. Okay, testimonial section. Yeah, this testimonial section is just like, we're not done with this one. So this one. Let me rename it. Let me put this one. Why catch? This is the name of the section to call it now. Why us? And I'm going to copy this name to all of them. What I was talking about design UI elements. What is UI elements? And when we are talking about atomic design, we see some people will mention atomic design when you are in designing community, you are in designers community. And they use atomic design to structure their design. What it means is that this particular icon here is one design element, and this description here, this high quality with this one is like a test, right? And then this background is another one. So people use this one like they start designing everything that they want. Before you start designing, they just feel like how the icon will look like in the design. They design the icon first. After the icon, they design, then they imagine or think about how their test is going to look like. They set it first, they set it then, and then this one too, the width, the size, and everything. Then after that, they are just putting it in their layouts one after the other. So it means that they don't design straightforward like we are doing now, but then they do it in an atomic way, which means they first of all design all the smaller elements in their design, and then we are putting it together with more elements to become one big whole. That's just the meaning of atomic design. And I think I have a book on it. I read the book about 2 times. I think I read the book about 2 years ago, and I read it towards last day December. It's a book by Brad Frost on atomic design. And now you can structure your design in an atomic way. But that's when we're talking about design system in Figma, which is one of the things that you as a UI designer you should know. But most kind of stuff have also covered that. If you join a master class, we're talking about atomic design, but then it's not like maybe a most of the time. If you're just doing this a website for a business that does not really want to be using one big or one robust design system, there's no need for you to be doing all of those, because sometimes it's a lot of work. If you are then, maybe you are doing mobile application for a particular brand, then web application, we also have a web application, and then there will be websites. You can see the interface that you have now. Then there's a need for you to establish a very robust design system. So I think we are good there. We just need to group this one together. So this one is Control, Alt, and G. You don't capture everything. You only have to. So this or that, I'm just going to move them in. Okay. So you can then call this one Y card blocks. Okay. I think by now you know what this one to have. This wants to be 40 CRB and maybe 60. Let's go with 64 now. So I'm going to put them in upper layouts, and then once again I'm going to now we need to have a button. Let me just don't even have a button. Let a button for this button. Well, let me just write a button. So this is how you design a button. Let's just say this particular landing page now is not looking more like a normal website, but let me just do something that will actually move towards the goals of the organization, which is for user to get the application. So let me just put here after white box, the next thing is so Let me just say download app, right? And then we can have maybe something like learn more. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to use Shift and A first, and then I'm going to give it a color. In this case, that should be black. And then I'm going to make the padding right and left to be 30. If I even go with 32, depends. You know, up and down, let me go with 18. So people are the argue in the design community that if you set a padding for top and left to be, if it's 30, then up and down should be 60. I mean, that's 15. That's half of 30 all the time. But it depends on what you are designing, and it depends on how you want your element to look like. If you are still beginner, you will be following up all of those other rules. But if you know what you are doing, there's no reason for you to be following one rules. Okay, so I'm going to put this test inside here to right. Okay, so this one should have this. This is okay. Is this not looking good? If you are doing a normal design, this is 24, is too big. So this one is to be 18. Right? If you put it to, let's say 15, feel like it's going to be too big. Right? But it depends on what you're doing. It may look good sometimes. Okay? And even at this point, because of this test, it's kind of big. It's okay. If it's 15, but if the test is small, like if it's only up now, right? Now the space here may be too small for it. Now you can go with maybe something like 18 or 16. I think I'm going to use 16, 15. Let me check it. So sometimes you know user also can zoom it. You know what? Let me go with my normal 18. And this one, the user can also zoom out on websites. When they zoom out, you know, they are living with responsive design. You want it to be. So this one is going to be with outline like this. So, okay. Anyway, I just have it in if there is need, what solutions we will do the normal design, then we do. I mean, if I add some kind of icon to them later. So let me put this one here. Now we are inside of a layer, so you can just press down button, make it down like this, and then press the main container. This is the container. Let me put the name to container, and then I'm going to. What's going on? This one is not container before, and that's why it's doing that nonsense. So, yeah, okay, yeah, so let's do the same thing, this container. So let's create another frame, Ctrl and G. So this frame will not be Y us. Okay. So this frame should have 4440, and then align it like this. Okay, and add this one to like this. And then I'm going to increase the height of this frame. So to be like this. And okay, we're using 60, right? So 60 like this. And then this one like this. So let's drag it to the top like this. To the okay. And we are moving and our landing page is coming to life. And the other. And of course, if there's any fault to add something, remove something, we are the designer. There's nothing stopping us from doing that. The testimonial. The testimonial is just going to feature some people that will give a testimony of this company or this brand. I can design that in any way, and I can think of endless way in my own head now to design testimony. Or maybe we should just take a look at some example so you know how they look like. But there's no any right or wrong answer to that. But let's just look at maybe some example. Audience. So this way, until you are knowing how to do some basic research, is what you must be able to do as a designer. So testimonial section as website testimonial section, otherwise this one is only website. Website testimonial section. Yeah, this kind of this one is very common. This one is common. Well, this one too. This one is a very nice one. This one, you can see this one is a very nice one. And we have a style that here. We can actually do something like this. Okay. And so that's pretty much this. I don't want to do my own design testimonial, so we are not limited to my own design. You can see this one too is a very good one. Let us go ahead and now design anyone that we can design. It's not something hard, so just really hard. So click for testimonial is okay. When it's called to us, and it just begin carries a lot of time. So you can have maybe the name of the guy, and then it's avatar. Then we put it on to 80 by 80. You can go with 54 by 54. And I'm going to also show now something like this. Maybe 20, and I think I've been working with 20 before. 20 like this. This card, I'm going to give it 9. I'm going to use this. And then I'm going to I can just start 8 so that I can reduce the size, it's still big now. And make it to be maybe 24. And then I'm going to write Joshua. Yeah. That's the way you want it to work. Like you can include the role of this guy or something like that. In fact, let us if you write what you said about this. And then we can this one here to make it that in this case. Turn it to the front. Just put it down to the front is that most brackets. keyboard. We can go to this place, bring to front, this, and then this one is not going to be center line, it's going to be like this. And then we can just put this one to be like this. I feel like it's too much. Okay. Almost not be too big. And then we can upstart. You can use some to practice some of your there or not drug stuff. Don't get it from the plugin. And for now, I just make maybe some stuff like that. And this. Then we say we can make it to be 20 by 20. Then we first of all load the aspect ratio. So 20 by 20. So good one. And then I'm going to give it maybe 1 pixel more radius. That's just too much to up. This. So I'm going to copy this one. Okay. 5. And this. And then I'm going to maybe add up the layer today. By spot A. Okay. Fast. Like this is to be. Because I'm so okay. It's okay now. You can see I'm making it in that simple way. And then you can just put his work. Well, come is looking very fast. I'll just be fast a little bit. So what I want to put here is I want to put point. It's just waiting for the developer. And then it is something that you need. Something like that. So that's the work of this guy. I'm not a teacher. I'm going to make this one to be like 16 or even maybe 12. This one is what? 24. Too big. 20. This one is what? I think 16. Yeah. So this one, we going to group there. And the gap nothing is okay. This one, and this one. Then we'll put this one together first. We're going to put this one to 4. And then this one, repeat again. And then we're going to put it to maybe 20 now. Okay. Okay, let's go here. Let's make this one to be 22, just like this circle. Okay. And then we can just pull out some quotes. Looks like now also the one that is a bit rounded. Something I can do. Yeah, and spend that's me looking for good food. So I'm going to redo this one to 1 pixel like this. I'm going to remove this really. We still that's because of we are selecting this icon, but not the frame itself. So let's let the frame and make it big like this. So I'm going to send it back by pressing. Let me use the normal way. So just send it back like this. That's going to far back, and we can't see it again. Just want it to be at the back of this text. Then bring it to front again. Bring to front. I just want to not be. I think that the Figma has changed this thing. Before this, bring forward. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. I'm going to bring this one to the front. Bring to front like this. Okay. So now this one is at the back of this one on my palette. You can see here. Okay. So I want to select this one and this one and the frame and align them to the center like this. And this particular icon, I'm going to give it about maybe 20% opacity like this. Okay. Okay, so this is okay. Only 10%. Yeah, this is okay. In fact, this test is supposed to be more than this. Maybe you can even go with 40. So let me leave it for now as this. So I can make this one to be like this. Okay. There's nothing special about this one. Okay, I think these guys, they are not inside of this place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call them. So let this frame, put it inside. The same thing with this one, call them, let the frame, place it inside. Okay, so if you move this one out, this will be moved. Not circle. Okay, yeah, I use rectangle. That's a very unusual mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now this rectangle now. I select it. In fact, let me select everything like this as Control, Alt, and G. Now they're inside of the group. So because of they are inside of the group now, then I'm going to just select color. Now this field does not have a color. But once I select that pick color and I click this color, now a color has been added. So this rectangle now can now delete it. And then I'm going to add a frame in the corner radius back to this frame. I think I will use a corner radius like this. And I'm going to keep content for now. Okay. But it's not matter. Then just move it manually. So what I want us to do is to just check this area now. You can have space here, not like this place. See, this one must not be too much. Because we still want to have CTA, and this CTA that one can take some space. So we can just don't want us to waste time typing. We can pull out this heading from here. Okay, this one you have to group them. So that's Control Alt and G, and then that's testimonials. Testimonials. Oops. Okay. 1 to 20. Because I usually say 1 to 20, and everything will be online. Let's see. You can then say here from so they want to bring everything up. Don't hide it. Then we click it again. So this one should be here from satisfied customer. Because, this one is really big. You know what? Let me go with small letter. Let me do sentence case. Because something like this. Because I manipulate the state of this, or the case of this thing is not doing nonsense. Without, we can go with this one. This one or not. Start to case now. Maybe because of the way I type it. Anyway, let me retype it there. So I want it to be as normal as I type it. Then it's as type, I think. So can then put it again. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to leave this one for now. That's for this time. Don't even have to put any CTA, but let's leave it for now like that. Okay, let me just put this one here. But we can bring it to this place. This. It's not a problem. But let me add it for now. This one and this one. I'm going to group them together. So this is going to be our container now. And then once again, I'm going to add as testimonial section. Sectional. Okay. So you can see the way we are designing now. Look at our design. We are very, very good. As in the structure, the area, vital section, air feature section, you don't have everything scattered in our frame. So here now, we can put this on to 140, and then we center it. And then this one, we center it. So this one will increase here. We are working with 60. As I said before, as time goes on, you figure out the way you're going to be doing your design. But for now, some of you are going to be copying my own. Because we want to reach it. We're going to be very specific. Not here. This one. Okay. So the next one is CTA. So CTA. CTA is not going to be something crazy. CTA is just like a call to action section that we can use to tell the user to do something that we want them to do. Okay. So all of this got into their CTA one way or the other because they're calling the user to take action one way or the other, especially this one. I think we are moved away from using our decided in this way. I really don't think about this. So let me just adjust this one to 40. Something around like this too. So CTA, let me show you a sample of CTA here for here. Here. Anyway, let's see CTA here. So it's website. So it's a section. Okay, I promise I'm going to use another source of inspiration. Let me know is dribble. So website sensitive section. You can see the one that we have here. Let me see this one. But let me show you some of my design. So you can see this one is a section. Now it's asking for user to make action. And let me show you some in my design. Maybe in this Dandelion website. So you can see this section is CTA section, and it's before footer. It must not have to be here before footer. You can put it anywhere. But in most cases, if you're doing something like this, it's okay that you put it here so that for the user see the last thing. After they see here, they may take a particular 1 second to scroll up again. So when they see here, right, they see here, then when they're going back again, they see it. And there's the ID. And then psychologically, you feel like they can take decision at that moment. So let's just go back to our own design. But then this one, I feel like it has more elements to it because we do want to do something very simple to just it here. We're talking about app now. This page is just to advertise our application to the user. Now I've done the same thing before, and the way it looks like is this. Let me see where we can replicate the same thing today. So you can see this particular project, the major thing they deal on is in mobile application. So we have this landing page for them. I designed this landing page myself. This will be in February. So here now, you can see the way the city looks like. All right. And then this is how it looks like. So this one actually come before facts. And our own people don't have facts. So here you can do something that's similar to this. Maybe you can use this picture to use some other plugin for you to put your mockup. So what I'm going to do is I don't have to copy this, right? I don't have to. Let's just go to our design and just type get the now. Don't need to have container now. So let me just put this up here now. This one is going to be like the main section. And you can say get the mobile application and start what and start browsing high quality. Now this high quality, the management of this place, this one can be high quality, this one can be fast delivery. Or let me just say installment payment. Installment payment. Installment payment. This is to be now. This is 26 or 24. 24. This one to so is what 16, so to 24. 124. Okay, this one can be maybe something like, how do you call it? Is it swap from the smart card? Yes. And then this one too. Maybe cheaper price. 24. 24. Okay. So here now, let's say get mobile application and start browsing high quality and affordable as without leaving your doorstep or something like that. If you don't want to know this one doesn't matter. So let me put it to maybe 24. And then the line at, let's say you go with 150 now, it's not available. So we can add our button here. And when we are developing application, we only have two main platforms, and that's Google Play Store, and then we have Apple Store, that's iOS Store. So I don't want to be doing all this with copying and pasting of Google icon and Apple icon. Let me just grab this one for this place. And I'm going to edit it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. And of course, first of all, I want to change this color to black. So I will make this one to be 40 around, and this one to be 30. And so this one, so we always put this one to be something like get this from play, get this from Play Store like this, and Play Store, and get this from Google Play, and then get it from Google Play, and then from Play Store. And plug in it. Okay. This one is not a problem. That's okay. Now I'm going to add some 20 and we have 12. Then it's going to be maybe I think we're using 30 before. And then this will be 18. And the 18 is too much for this to let me give us 15. 40. And that is what is really big. But anyway, so I say it gets maybe I should do this on the black. Okay, we have coding and then we have description. We also have description at the top. We from this heading here, there's no heading. There's no heading here. There's no heading, and there's no heading here. You can put heading later on when we're designing. because I feel like I'm meeting it. Anything just like not actually edit. What I mean is like a title. Visit testimonial. I can have something like this. Yeah. And then it might be something like testimonial. Testimonials. So this one can be very small, like maybe 16 or so. And it will just be around this telling you that this is testimonial. Okay. Before the main edit. So you can do that when you are designing. But for now, let me just make this one like this. Yep. And then this one will be 16. With this one, 24. Okay. And then this one, 16 description. And then this one, 40. Like this. You can see it. And just say it's easier and to based on purchase, right? Purchase is easier on the app, something like this. And then time has gone. I'll be stopping anytime soon. But let us get a skeleton right. Okay. So you can make this one to be like this, or this, and this. Okay. If you don't, you can rotate it because that's how this one look like. But you must not rotate it. And then so will be like this. So we enter like this. Now I want this one to be to how would I have this good? I want this one to not overflow yet, but to overflow yet. What I can do today is I'm going to put this one inside another frame. So I'm just going to say Control Alt and G on that frame. So these frames will be here, and then this one should have click contents. Right, the same as with this one, and then this one will go to this place. Alright. So if you know the height of this one is going to be like this. So put this one to mobile app. Now the thing is that there's no way we can get a mobile application app. We can just not design it. You know what I mean? So yeah, the CC is okay. And of course we add some effects just to make it look very fun because this is what's we earn the company money. And we call this one out. We're going to physics there. Right. We're going to drag it up. Need to download this again. This one is too overflowing, so we can bring it down. And then something like this frame, we can adjust this one to the left. And we can call this frame CTA section. And then drag it up. Just okay, you can see it's very simple, not too much information. And we can have our footer now. The footer is very simple. Let's quickly do it before we go. Then let's classify of design. And, I don't want to do, I can actually go and copy footer because this is, to be honest, I don't really design footer too much again. Footer always do the same in most websites. This is footer. This is footer. You know, here, FCTA area footer. Footer is the last section of the website. This is a footer. And what you have here is just like all these link to every section of the page again. Then you have maybe all the service link and how the clients, how the user, how the filter of the websites can connect to that business. Then you add the logo and then some little bit of branding in this area. And then this one are very important. Yeah. This signature, this one, 25 titanium painting. You see, outright reserved. This copyright icon so that you don't copy any part of this particular website without any authorized permission. Otherwise, you can sue for it. So, privacy policy, sometimes all these things can be very important, especially if the website is monetizing. The websites monetize content on their page. So, you see how to work with them and then terms of service and something like that. This is it's just like a brand logo that you can't use anyhow. So those ones we can put it when you are designing your own footer. So the footer, we're gonna just give it the same color to this one. Then you can even make this one to be automated like this. Okay, so let's have any wireframe some website. This one is not like maybe you don't need any inspiration for this most of the time. So I'm not going to spend time designing this one. Then you see the wireframe that can actually get this one from wireframe. Someone's going to want to I think I need to show you all those processes one after the other. For that's how you build your own creative muscle too. Okay. You can see the wireframe. I don't know where I come on the time. You can see. And you can copy this one all over. Pre-decline does not have time for all this. So then we have to place it here. And as you can see, the same height, unfortunately, the same width. So that's how you do wireframe. What I want to do is I want to change the branding. And I'll change this one to I'll remove add color. And remove this guy logo. Then make it maybe white. Okay. And I'm just going to add some unit text for now. Okay. So here we have one services about Chris. This is no longer Chris. You can just you don't have facts. Maybe you can even add flag. You can just put so here we can put here we have what? We can put our own categories. We have we have something like Sudan. And look for it. See Sudan or Sudan. Then we have SUVs, I think, and so on and so forth. And then the contents of this particular. So this one is going to be Tokumbo. Tokumbo at maybe that's come out. Let's go here. So yeah. Write with write with is and put this on there. Then of course see this is in most cases this is the format. Copyright 25 to Congo. Sometimes someone will not use outright reserve, they will just say it in a humorous way. Like do not steal our property. You see it in some cases like this. Okay, so somebody want to ask a question, right?
Yes, I have a question, sir.
What's that?
Sorry, are we recreating this stuff?
You are creating something like this, but not for the same company, not for we are doing it for Tokumbo now. You will do it for something else. It can be for your own business or maybe any business that you see out there that you want to create it for. Okay. So you are going to take inspiration. For example, now you focus on cars. So you only focus on something else, like maybe houses, real estate, and something like that. You understand?
Okay, I will do wireframe like this too for the stuff
Exactly. So wireframe
design.
like this is yes, it's when you're going to use to design your actual interface.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are going to be taking inspiration now, just like I am taking inspiration now. Okay. Yes. So that's it. It does not have to look polished or perfect like this one. If this one is not, if you ask me, this one is looking shredded off because I'm doing things I don't even worry about most things. But I want to show you how you can be able to be creative, or you can get ideas and manipulate those ideas to create unique stuff.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'm saying you.
Okay.
So I think you can finish it by before Monday now.
So let's see how it goes because this is looking hard though. To be honest, I've been confused all through this class
Don't worry.
as well.
There's nothing like confusion there. When you're watching it again now, you get it. It's just like a wireframe. Now you don't if you are designing, this is a long stuff. If you are designing and you don't have any idea in your brain, if you are just doing it without wireframe, sometimes it may be a lot of back and forth, back and forth. But now this has given you a skeleton way of how it's going to look like, a skeleton look of how the final result is going to look like, right? Then you can be able to add images, colors to your design. To your design without having to do back and forth too much again. You can see that okay, there's going to be 3 cars here, and that's going to look somehow. But as you are designing, you can adjust something. But this one has given you the way it's going to look like later on. You do get?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So that's the purpose of wireframing. Okay, and then you can go on and add some text that's going to fit in. But me, I like to do that after all the design because even text is subject to editing. So that's so this I don't want to put this one again. So another time. Not like it's hard, but then I don't. We have all our category laid down, so we are done. Of course, here you can. But if you are fast, if you are very fast, you can actually do the same thing like this after you are done with your own personal stuff and do the same thing again with Tokumbo. Because we are going to be using this Tokumbo. You can see I don't want to even rasterize this. I want to use Tokumbo. We are going to be using it to create prototype in Figma after we are done designing it. So you are still going to have access to it and you are still going to have it on your file. You can copy it, but I will just say that don't copy it just yet because we can still edit something in there. But if you later copy the actual file, the original file, and then we are going to type it together. Okay, so that's all for today. Let me replace this one with a hatchback and so on and so forth. Cubes, and then we have coops. We have compatible pickup trucks, mini farm, and maybe this weekend I'm going to work on how we can get the image from. You can get the image from different places. You can get images from FreePic. You can get from Splash. You can get from all these other sites. Okay, and that is because of this is like a demo project. It's not a real world project. It's what you to practice on your own. If it's like a real world project, in most cases, the clients are going to be the one that will send you the detail, the assets, the thing that they have in their own stock, not you going to be doing. All you can do is just for you to edit the background, or even remove the background over all, or you want to even add some little twist, or they are going to be the one sending most of the assets. But in this case, which are going to be doing a lot for now, if you are still like starting out, you are going to be downloading pictures from internet and then use it on your own design. Okay, so that's it for now. So go through this thing. If you like to take anything inspiration to do your own, of course you can do it. Okay, so this is just like the way you draw your ideas, and the way this thing works is like, we are talking about UX. UX is research. After the research, you don't just want to go into designing like that. that the result of your research, you want to sketch it out first. When you do sketch it out first on a paper, the next thing is wireframe. So wireframe is just like the result of your sketching, and then from there to high fidelity design. What we call high fidelity design is the actual design, okay? And then you can go on to prototype. So after prototype, and you see that things are going smooth, then you can move on to the development. Then to you're going to do some testing first. After some testing, you release it to some people. It depends on how huge the project is before you actually release it for the public to use. So that's just the whole idea of wireframing. I don't do it some of the time, especially if it's just maybe 30 pages websites and the client is on my neck, like I want this thing to be done in 2 weeks or something like that. Sometimes I just commit it and I will decide. But that's based on my experience. Sometimes it's okay for you to just start with wireframing so that you can be able to do some creative stuff. And sometimes, if from the wireframing, I will do it on a piece of paper so that I can actually do some, some little bit of creativity in there. So that's just it about wireframing. And help you understand the way it works now. Okay. So in our next class, we are going to start doing the design proper. Okay. As I said, I'm going to get some picture that we can use. I'm going to do some work on it so that it doesn't take too much of our time. In the next class, I'm going to remove the background, and then maybe I'll see how to do maybe 1 or 2 in the class, but I'm going to do most of the work before the next class, if I will not forget. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. Do you have any question, any suggestion, recommendation, inputs, addition, subtraction, or multiplication?
I have. I want to know the time we're starting prototyping.
The class. Or
Yes,
the class.
the class for prototyping.
I don't know. If we move very fast, next week is going to be next week. I mean, it's going to be next class. You know, we only have 1 class left in this bootcamp now. This is the 7th class. But I want to add that prototyping because I don't want you guys to just finish this bootcamp with that prototyping. Of course, we are going to be doing a little thing. But not only a little thing, no, because prototyping also have some ideology behind it. You don't just do it anyhow. Just as you just rush and do it. You have to know the basics. You know, if you have to know why prototyping works in Figma, you're going to look at all of those first before you move on to prototyping. If you have the time, you're going to see that in the next class. And after the next class, that's the next 2 classes, which is going to be on, that should be, I'm not sure, maybe Wednesday or I don't know, maybe Thursday, or it's going to be Wednesday or Friday, depending on my own availability. We're going to do, even if you can't do everything, we just do some prototype, like maybe the home page, and the hero section, that cast, I can see that you can add some interesting movement on that, those cast there, and that just is. We are not going to do something that's going to be too robust because we have to start from like level 1. People that don't know anything about prototyping, so that we can actually move higher and higher and higher later. But that's if you join the masterclass. But then this one, you are going to, if you understand it very well, you can actually take it from there and add some cool effects to your own. So that's it.
Sorry, I have a question.
What's that?
Good evening. The master class, is it after this boot camp?
Yes, it's after this boot camp. It's going to start from that should be next 2 weeks. I think the date to be on the 10th of October, but I've not decided yet, to be honest, because of I still have some things I'm doing myself, but it's going to be next 2 weeks.
Okay, so how much for the master class?
The master class will be out today. So what I want to do is, as you've seen, maybe you did not take notice of it when you saw the bootcamp flyer. It's there, that discount to the people that join my UI design bootcamp, because now you're not total beginners again. You know, you have some little ideas about how it works. But there's going to be a discount I'm going to give to you guys. That's not going to be the regular price for everybody, because some people are really waiting for that masterclass, and those that did not join the bootcamp are going to pay the full amount. So I'm going to give you guys some discounts that is going to be like a benefit for you guys. So don't worry, when the flyer is out, you will see the price there, and then you will get to know the discounts.
So it's coming out today, right?
Exactly.
Flyer.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for you on
No
the
problem.
group now. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you have any question again? I think I can show my face now.
So I have a question. Concerning the master class, will there be certificates?
There will be certificates, but you know, let me tell you something. It is not only certificates. It is also you also need certificate. You don't have to prove too much because when people come to you, actually they will not be requesting for certificate. They'll be asking you what is your portfolio or what you've done so in the past. You understand? That's what they're going to be asking for. So what I want to focus on is even as we are learning, we'll be creating portfolio by writing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, building your own portfolio with Bias or Dribble, anyone that you like from scratch, one after the other. So that's how it's going to be.
Okay, so we'll not get certificates from the
The
master
certificate
class.
is going to be there. I'm telling you that beyond certificate, there's also certificate. Yes, certificate is easy. In fact, I want to even give you guys like certificates of participants in this UI design bootcamp. I'm a designer. I can design anything that I want. It's not a problem at all.
Okay.
But it's going to be there. But beyond certificates, you also need certificates.
Yes, I get your point, sir. Thank you, sir.
So any other question? What we call it? Now we don't have to call it a day game. We have to call it a night. I want sometimes not to talk like this. So throughout today I've been talking. Okay, I believe that there's no more question, right? We can call it a day here. Okay, thank you so much for joining. So please go ahead and do your own homework. You know, if you don't do it, it will not do it itself. And you have to be putting a little effort, no matter how little it is. Just make sure that you are putting a little effort. And if you have anything that is a challenge, you feel like it's a roadblock, it's not, you really don't understand how it's going, so you can always come to my inbox and ask me questions. I will answer you. So that's it for tonight. So bye and do have a lovely evening.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.